Maya had recently moved into a charming, if slightly worn, old house in a quiet neighborhood. She'd always dreamed of having a place to call her own, where she could finally settle down after years of moving around. But her excitement quickly waned as strange occurrences became a nightly ordeal. It started with small things, misplaced items, doors she knew she'd closed left open. She brushed it off as her imagination, a quirk of getting used to a new home. But as the nights grew longer and colder, the disturbances escalated. One evening, Maya lay in bed listening to the wind rattle the windows. But beneath the sounds of the storm, she thought she heard faint footsteps echoing from the hallway, approaching her door. She dismissed it, chalking it up to an old house's creaks and groans. Little did she know this was only the beginning. The next night, Maya was again jolted awake by a loud crash, like glass shattering somewhere in the house. Heart racing, she sat up, straining her ears for any further sounds. In the silence that followed, she felt an unshakable chill settle over her. Hesitantly, she tiptoed to her bedroom door, which she'd always locked before going to sleep. Yet as her hand reached for the doorknob, she froze. The door had somehow unlocked itself and now hung slightly ajar. In the dim light, Maya could make out strange shadows moving across the walls, twisting and writhing as though alive. Her blood ran cold when she heard the faintest whisper of her name, Maya, drawn out and distant, like an echo from another world. Maya's first instinct was to call someone, anyone. She tried her best friend Emma, but received no answer. Gripped by a sense of helplessness, she did what she'd never thought she'd do. She called the police. "Is someone inside your home?" the dispatcher asked, calm and professional. I don't know, but something isn't right," Maya whispered, her voice barely steady. "Please, I just need someone to check it out." The dispatcher assured her that officers would arrive soon. As she hung up, a new wave of dread washed over her. Her reflection in the dark window seemed to ripple, as if something else were looking back at her. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to check out our other horror and mysterious tales on the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more spine-chilling content. The police arrived and conducted a thorough search, finding nothing out of the ordinary. They reassured her it was likely her nerves, and perhaps some quirks of an older house. Yet, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that something was horribly wrong. As the officers left, one of them, Officer Daniels, paused by her front door. "Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but some people say this house has a history. A few families have moved out suddenly over the years. Just be careful." This revelation sent chills through her, confirming her worst fears. She wasn't alone in her house. Desperate for answers, Maya began researching her home's history. She discovered that decades ago, a tragic accident had claimed the lives of a family. The rumors suggested that the spirit of the family's youngest daughter, Sarah, still lingered, unable to rest. As she read, Maya felt an odd connection to the little girl. She learned Sarah's story, a child who had lived in fear, confined and isolated in the same house Maya now called home. Her heart ached for the young girl, but the sense of unease was undeniable. Late one night, Maya awoke to a familiar crash, louder and closer than ever before. Her bedroom door, which she had locked as usual, slowly creaked open. Shadows danced across the walls, forming shapes that defied logic or reason. But this time, she could see it clearly. A figure, barely visible but unmistakably there, standing in her hallway. The figure was small, childlike, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through her. Maya's voice caught in her throat as she tried to scream, but no sound came. The air grew thick, stifling her, pinning her in place as the shadows closed in. A whisper echoed through the room, soft and sorrowful. "Help me!" Maya, paralyzed with fear, realized that the spirit wasn't there to harm her. It was pleading, seeking help. Summoning her courage, she reached out, her hand trembling as she whispered, "I'm here, Sarah. I'll help you." As soon as the words left her lips, the oppressive darkness lifted. The shadows pulled back, and for the first time, Maya felt a strange warmth envelop her. It was as though the air itself had shifted, lightening with a sense of hope. The next day, while organizing her things, Maya stumbled upon an old dusty locket hidden beneath a loose floorboard in her bedroom. Inside the locket was a tiny, faded photograph of a little girl who looked just like Sarah. On the other side, there was an engraving, "I am with you always." She felt a surge of emotion, an overwhelming sense of peace, as if Sarah had finally found solace. From that night onward, the disturbances ceased. The house felt different, lighter, as though a heavy burden had been lifted. Maya knew that somehow her connection with Sarah had granted the spirit the peace she had long sought. Through her courage, she had offered a lost soul a miracle.